Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Raps Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League tonight. We are bringing you the second game in the series between the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks and the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters. It is the Hawks who won game one of the series, winning 6-5 yesterday as they had a seesaw battle with the fighters. And tonight it is going to be Game two of the series. Both of these clubs expected to challenge for the Pacific League crown. We're going to be starting lineup, first of all, for the visitors from Hokkaido, leading off tonight. And in center field is number 53, Shin Mizutani. Batting second at first base is number 21, Kotaro Kiyomiya. Hitting third and doing the designated hitting is number 99, Franmil Reyes. Batting in the fourth spot and playing third base is number 3, Yuya Gunji. Batting fifth in right field, number 66, Chusei Manami. Batting in the sixth spot and in left field, it's number 5, Yuki Nomura. Hitting seventh at second base is number 6, Rodolfo Castro. Batting eighth and doing the catching is number 64, Yua Tamiya. Batting ninth and playing shortstop is number 43, Tetsuki Mizuno. And they're going to be facing the left-hander. It is going to be Haru Matsumoto, who takes to the hill for the Hawks in this one, as we are about set and ready to go. Well, fighters got off to a good start last night. They jumped the Hawks for 3 in the first inning. Home run by Kiyomiya and another home run in the inning. The bat of Chusei Manami had paced them to that early 3-0 lead, but unable to build on that as we are ready to begin this one. The first pitch from Matsumoto is a fastball that misses upstairs for ball one, and we are underway at 1:31 local time in Fukuoka. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes even at 1-1 to Mizutani. Mizutani was 2 for 4 in yesterday's ball game. He had a home run and 1 RBI. Batting from the right side here against the left-handed throwing Matsumoto, who kicks and delivers. Breaking ball swung on and grounded foul just past the third base coach's box, and the count goes to 1-2 on Mizutani. So 1 ball and a couple of strikes. So Matsumoto gets himself a new baseball, and we're ready to go back to the action as the lefty leans in, gets the sign. He nods in agreement. And now he gets ready to deliver here to Ameno as he kicks and fires. There is a fastball taken for a called third strike. Not sure what Mizutani was looking at, but he watched that one sail by for out number 3. And he goes in the books for out number 1 here, and that is going to bring up the first baseman in Kotaro Kiyomiya. Well, for Kiyomiya, he began the season last night with a 2-run shot in the first inning. He was 1 for 5 with the homer and 2 RBIs. Batting from the left side here against the left-handed throwing Matsumoto. As the pitch on the way is a fastball that comes inside, and as Kiyomiya gets him on that elbow guard, and he is going to make his way over to first base. So they've got a base runner here to do the fighters. And that is going to bring up the designated hitter in Franmil Reyes. Get a look at that replay again, and he's got the lime green protection on all over the place, and it just caught the elbow guard as he makes his way down to first base. So Reyes coming to the plate. He was 1 for 5 in last night's affair as he steps to the dish, batting from the right side. Reyes coming off a fine season, the 30-year-old in his 3rd year with Hokkaido. Waggling the bat as the lefty Matsumoto checks the runner and delivers. It's a fastball on the inside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Defensively tonight for the Hawks, it's the exact same lineup they had last night. It's Yanagamachi in left, Shudo in center, and Kondo in right. As Matsumoto holds to the set, here comes the 0-1. Fastball swung on, grounded to third. They go to second for 1. It's going to be back to first. That's going to be an inning-ending double play. That's going to go in the books as a 5-4-3 variety. And that is going to do it here for out number 3. We'll have to give you the lineup in the other half inning when they come back. Well, no runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. It's an unconventional 1-2-3 inning. And we are through a half inning. It is the Fighters, no score, and the Hawks coming to bat. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in 30 seconds to give you the lineup for Fukuoka when we return right after this timeout.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to give you the lineup for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. As we said, it was pretty much the same as last night. No changes for that ball club tonight. Leading off in center field will be number 23, Yukio Shudo. Be followed by the right fielder, number 3, Kensuke Kondo. In the 3 spot and in left field is number 32, Tatsuro Yanagamachi. In the cleanup spot and doing the designated hitting is number 9, Yuki Yanagita. Hitting 5th at first base is number 25, Hotaka Yamakawa. Batting 6th at short is number 6, Kenta Imamiya. Hitting 7th at third base is number 24, Ryoya Kurihara. Batting 8th and doing the catching is number 62, Takashi Umeno. And batting at 9th is the second baseman wearing number 8, Taisi Makihara. And they're going to be facing number 16, Kota Tatsu, who takes to the hill here for the Fighters in this one. Tatsu coming off a pretty decent season last year where he was 8-2 in 16 starts with an earned run average of 2.09. Well, that is your lineup for the Hawks as we are ready to begin the bottom of the first. Shudo striding to the plate. He really wasn't an impactful player on the offensive side yesterday. He was 0 for 4 as he takes a first pitch fastball up and in for ball 1. Shudo, who is 30 years old, he has the speed, which is his biggest asset. Fastball swung, and this ball lined into right field. Started in, and then he moved back, and making the catch is Chusei Manami, and Shudo is going to be gone for the first out of the inning. Hit that ball right on the screws. But gone for out number 1, and that'll bring up the right fielder in Kensuke Kondo. Well, for Kondo last night, he was 1 for 3. He had a homer and 1 RBI. As Kondo strides to the plate, he had a few nice defensive plays yesterday in the ball game as well. Got a chance to catch that one in the middle of the night. The first pitch is a fastball taken for a called strike. Interesting that they double back a day game after a night game. The Hawks pretty much keep their same lineup intact, and the Fighters making a couple of changes. There's a fastball swung on and another one lifted foul, this time into the seats down the left field line, and the count now is 0-2. Kondo, 32 years old, batting from the left side here. He has the connection with the Fighters. He was a one-time fighter himself. We have a few of those in the ball game as some of these players have crossover connections. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fastball misses upstairs. It's 1-2 to Kondo. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kondo taps both sides of the dish. Now he gets himself settled back in, and here comes the offering from the right-hander Tatsu, who delivers a fastball and another one swung on and lifted foul into the seats down the left field line. Count remains at 1-2. Have to say, this looked like it was the shaping up of the most entertaining game of the night last night. For those of you who ended up jumping over to watch the end of the game between the Dragons and the Carp, the game took on a whole different meaning. And it also ended 6-5. And the Carp scored 5 in the bottom of the 9th to come back and upend the Dragons, who were cruising pretty much the whole way. There's a fastball taken right down the middle for a called third strike. Kondo stood there and watched it go by. He's in the books for out number 2. That's going to leave it up to the left fielder in Tatsuro Yanagamachi. Well, for Yanagamachi, he was 1 for 4 in last night's affair. Interesting lineup selections for the manager. Wasn't sure that Yanagamachi would be slotting into this spot. It kind of knocked everybody else, like Yanagita, Yamakawa, Kurihara, all down a peg. As the first pitch is on the way, it's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count's 1-0. Yanagamachi did have a nice season last year, probably his finest in the NPB. Batting from the left side here against the right-hander who kicks and fires. Fastball misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. One thing I noticed about Tatsu is he doesn't seem to have a lot of late life on his fastballs tonight. I wonder if that's going to catch up. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Lots of success for the Fighters right-hander last year. As we mentioned, he won 8 of his 10 decisions in 16 starts. Breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 2-2. And lots of expectations for him this year, as well as for the Fighters, looking to take that leap in the Pacific. Here's the 2-2. Fastball swung on, and it's going to be lifted foul down the left field line. That pitch was at 97 on the gun, so he can really bring it up. 2-2 it remains. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get pitchers, because they have a plus fastball, they lose a little bit of movement. Our friend Samurai Prayer in the house, and he says, happy opening weekend. One of the greatest weekends in the calendar year for baseball fans. So 2 balls and 2 strikes it is to Yanagabachi. He is waiting here on the offering from Tatsu, who kicks and fires. It's a breaking ball that misses way outside. The count now goes to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Waiting his turn on deck is the designated hitter, Yuki Yanagita. Tatsu nods in agreement, and here comes the 3-2. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, grounded over to the right side, fielded by Kiyomiya. Underhand flips to the pitcher covering, and it's going to go as a ground out, 3-1 for out number 3. And that is going to do it here in the first inning for the Hawks. Well, they go quietly. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are through 1 complete inning. It is the Fighters nothing and the Hawks nothing. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back with the top of the second when we return after this musical timeout. Your score is the Fighters nothing and the Hawks nothing. We're moving to the top of inning number 2, and we'll be back in 30 after this. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the middle part of the batting order to come to bat here for the Fighters in inning number 2. That means Yuya Gunji, Chusei Manami, and Yuki Nomura to face the left-hander Haru Matsumoto. He'll begin his second inning of work. So the lefty getting himself ready as he's completed his tune-up tosses. 7 pitches to go through that first inning for Matsumoto. Hardly had to break a sweat as the first pitch breaking ball is taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1. The Chave in the house, he says, super excited to be around for this one after missing last night's game. Yeah, well, last night was a tough night. I always like to do the opening game, and it doesn't matter who it is. There's a ground ball chopped over to third. Fielding on the run is Kurihara. He throws to first, and that's going to retire Gunji on a ground out 5-3. So 1 up and 1 away here to start the second inning, and that's going to bring up the right fielder in Chusei Manami. Our friend Samurai Prayer said both Murakami and Okamoto did great jobs in their debut. I know yesterday that Murakami hit a home run. It was a bit of a consolation home run because the White Sox lost 14-2. They had homered in the first at bat, I think, of the game. And then they allowed the Brewers to score 14 runs, and then they homered with Murakami late. First pitch fastball swung on, driven into deep center field. Moving back on it is Shudo, and he makes the catch as he runs onto the warning track, and Manami is gone with one pitch. That's 2 in the books here, and that's going to leave it up to the left fielder and Yuki Nomura. I'll give you my thoughts in just a second. I wanted to get through the lineups, and it's been going so quickly. We started to give you the defensive lineup for the Hawks in the first inning, and we got interrupted with the double play. From left to right, it is Yanagamachi in left, Shudo in center, Kondo in right. Around the horn from first to third, Yamakawa is at first, Makihara is at second, Imamiya at short, and Kurihara at third, with the battery of Matsumoto and Umeno. And Nomura, who is making his season debut, swings at the pitch and fouls it away, and the count is quickly 0-1. Nomura getting the nod in left field tonight as Mizutani had moved over to center. Yazawa getting the night off as there's a fastball that just misses. Count is 1-1. I was saying last night's game, trying to do it in the middle of the night was pretty tough. And then our friend Samurai Prayer saying that Okamoto had a couple of singles for Toronto tonight. There's a fastball swung, and this ball is lifted in deep left field. This ball is trouble, and the Fighters are on the board as Yuki Nomura has gone yard. And that ball has left the building, and it is a home run, and the Fighters have taken an early 1-0 lead. So we saw this in last night's ball game. I hadn't gone back and taken an in-depth look of what went on around the NPB last night, other than the scores. And if this is an indication of what we're going to see this year, that ought to tell you that the balls may be a little bit on the juiced side. There was a comment, or they were saying that they were going to do something maybe to the balls a little bit to get balls flying a little bit more. Last night's ball game, we had 6 home runs in last night's game, and here we are off and running here tonight. The first pitch is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count's 0-1 to Rodolfo Castro. Castro getting the start tonight, did not appear in last night's game, hitting from the right side. This is his NPB debut. And the pitch is a fastball swung on, and he lifts it foul into the seats down the right field line, and the count now goes to 0-2. One-time Pittsburgh Pirate, known more for his cell phone flying out of his pocket during a game than anything else in his time in the big leagues. He's only 26 years old. There was thoughts that he could get a contract with somebody, but he would probably be on the DFA yo-yo train. As there's a breaking ball down, it squirts through. They said he did go around. Retrieving it is Umeno. He's going to have to fire it at first. It's not going to be in time. So it's going to be a strikeout, and it's going to go in the books as a wild pitch. As that ball had gotten down, and Castro is going to reach first safely. And that is going to bring up the catcher in Yua Tamiya. Well, for Tamiya, he is 1 for 4. We're going to look at that one again. I think that's going to go as a wild pitch and not as a pass ball. But it did go right through the wickets of the catcher. I'm sure that's not going to make the manager particularly happy. So Umeno looked like a hockey goalie who got beat through the 5-hole. And that brings Tamiya to the plate to extend the inning. He was 1 for 4 last night. He did drive in a run as he takes a fastball outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Today, I was just able to catch the ending of the Tiger-Padre game. Tigers beat the Padres as the lefty ready to deliver, and now he kicks and fires. Fastball swung on, grounded over to the left side, backhanded by Imamiya. He throws to first, and it's going to be in time. Oh, what a fantastic play by Imamiya. It's going to go in the books as a ground out, 6-3. I don't think they're going to look at it. I think it was enough in time as the Hawks are coming off of the field. Ground out, 6-3. Tamiya gone for out number 3, and that's going to do it here in the inning for the Fighters. No runs in the inning. 1 run in the inning on 1 hit. There was no errors and 1 runner left aboard. Your scores, we are through 1.5 innings. It is the Fighters 1 and the Hawks no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action right after this on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Stay tuned for more action around the corner. Welcome back, everybody. It's the heart of the batting order to come to bat here for the Hawks. And it is Yuki Yanagita who takes a first pitch for a ball inside. 1-0 to him. The 37-year-old getting the start at DH again tonight. Takes a breaking ball up and away, and the count now goes to 2-0. Last night's affair, he was 1 for 4 in the ball game. As he is batting from the left side, he did strike out a couple of times. Pitch on the way, fastball swung on, and he fouls it right off the catcher, Tamiya, as it ricochets to the backstop, and the count now goes to 2-1. Our friend Samurai Prayer says there was speculation from that the NPB official balls have changed and they fly more. Yeah, I heard that in the exhibition season that they were talking about that as well. You know, to be honest with you, I'd rather not create players. I'd rather see them have a standard or global standard. There's a fastball swung on. This is belted into right field. It's not going to have the distances. Over to make the catch is Manami, and that is going to retire Yanagita for out number 1. That is going to bring up the first baseman in Hotaka Yamakawa. I remember it was a few years ago that there was not just speculation, but the NPB commissioner had to resign, or a commissioner had to resign because of the juiced balls. And if you look at the home run totals over the past 10 years, it's been a steady decline. First pitch breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. I remember having a meeting in the Japanese Baseball Federation office years ago, and there is a fastball that misses. The count now goes to 1-1. And there was the talk about how they wanted to have more home runs. They thought it was more exciting. As it is an important part of the game, but not to create players. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's a fastball swung on and missed. The count now goes to 1-2 on Yamakawa. And in a lot of ways, the Japanese, or at least the Brain Trust, want to play more of a North American style. And there is a breaking ball that is waved at and missed, and Yamakawa has been made quick work of. He's gone for the second out of the inning. Going to leave it up to the shortstop in Kenta Imamiya. Well, defensively tonight for the Fighters from left to right field, we've got Nomura in left, the center fielder's Mizutani, and in right it's Manami. Around the horn from first to third, Kiyomiya at first, Castro at second, Mizuno at short, and at third it's Gunji with the battery of Tatsu and Tamiya. Fastball misses upstairs to Imami, and the count is 1-0. Tamiya was 2 for 4 in last night's ball game. The 34-year-old shortstop getting the start again here tonight. And there's a breaking ball swung on. It's rolled over softly to short, fielded neatly by the shortstop Mizuno, who fires to first. It's a ground out, 6-3, and that's going to do it here as the Hawks go quietly in their half of inning number 2. No runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. This game's skipping along. Your score as we move to the top of the third inning, it is the Fighters 1 and the Hawks no score. Stick around, everybody. The top of the third is just around the corner after this musical timeout. Welcome back, everybody. This is our friend Steve Rademacher. He's going to tell you who he is, what he's all about, and we'll be back in just a few after this introduction.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name. And I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters to come to bat here in the third inning. That means Mizuno, Mizutani, and Kiyomiya. And the first pitch, fastball, taken for a called strike on the outside corner, counts 0-1 to Mizuno. Mizuno was 1 for 4 in last night's ball game as the lefty kicks and delivers. Fastball misses down and away, and the count runs even to 1-1 on Mizuno. Mizuno got the start last night at second base as Yamagata was given the nod as the opening day shortstop. As the lefty Matsumoto delivers, there's a fastball that just misses down and in. And the count now goes to 2-1, so 2 balls and a strike. Again, the lefty getting the signs. He nods in agreement as Matsumoto ready to go. Kicks and fires. There's a fastball that misses way outside, and the count goes to 3-1. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if I like what Matsumoto does on the mound with regards to this. When he does his leg lift, he doesn't really look at the glove. At least that was in the last pitch. And then what he does is then he picks up the target afterwards. He looks away, and then he picks it back up as he's starting to deliver to the plate. And there's a fastball that misses up. It's going to be ball 4. Always encourage pitchers to be locked in on their targets, not to be doing the Fernando Valenzuela looking to the sky before you deliver. But if it works for him, then I guess maybe he's got to continue to do it. But that was ball 4. It's going to be the walk to the 9-hole hitter, and it's going to bring up the top of the order in Shun Mizutani. Well, for Mizutani, he's 0 for 1 today. He struck out looking his first time up. He's 2 for 5 on the early part of the season with the homer and an RBI. I have to tell you, I do like these fighters' uniforms, certainly better than the Big Boss collection that was out a couple of years ago with those red and black unis. These black unis with the teal trim are pretty neat. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. I don't know if these are going to be for the whole season or if they're just going to be for the certain type of games, but they do look very, very flashy. So no balls and 1 strike to Mizutani. As the lefty Matsumoto nods in agreement with his catcher Meno, and he's ready to go again. Here's the 0-1. It's a fastball missing upstairs, and the count runs even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Mizutani. It is a full slate of games again tonight across the NPB, as all the other games will be getting going here in just a couple of moments, and we'll keep you updated as we can on those. Lefty Matsumoto ready to go again. 1-1 count here to Mizutani. He checks the runner at first. And here comes the pitch. Nope, he fires over to first. And they got the runner leaning the wrong way. Mizuno drew the walk, and Matsumoto picks him off. He's going to go in the books as a pickoff. 1-3. He's out for out number 1. So we got a fresh slate all over again here with nobody on, and now a 1-1 count. He picked his foot up just a little bit and threw right over to the base. It was an easy call for the umpire as the runner was leaning the wrong way. So not sure what he was thinking about over there at first. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball, waved at and missed. Count now goes to 1-2 on Mizutani. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. So if you're a fighter fan, that could leave you frustrated. You get the 9-hole hitter on, and you can't let the big dogs go to work. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Matsumoto lifts and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's lifted foul into the seats over on the first base side, and the count remains a 1-2 to Mizutani. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mizutani digs himself back in, taps both sides of the dish. Matsumoto working up the baseball. And now we're ready to go back to the action. Shaking off his catcher, doesn't like the signs he gets. Now here comes the 1-2. I think I go back to the same pitch he did before. There's a fastball that just misses inside. That's exactly what he did before. He was able to get Mizutani looking at a fastball under the hands. That one missed. Wasn't in the same location. So 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Mizutani. Interesting to see how they set him up here. Here comes the 2-2 as Matsumoto works set again. Looks like they're coming back inside. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on it. It's driven the other way. It's going to get down for a base hit. over to field at his condo, and he fires it back in. And that's going to hold Mizutani to a long single. So he's got himself a one-out single, and that's going to bring Kotaro Kiyomiya to the plate. Well, I have to say, the pitcher Matsumoto in that particular pitch sequence there, the catcher Imeno was set up inside. It was a bad miss. He threw that pitch. It was more middle away. Good piece of hitting by Mizutani as he was able to stay inside the ball and drive it the other way, let that ball travel. So he is aboard with a one-out single. It brings Kotaro Kiyomiya to the plate. Kiyomiya was hit by a pitch his first time up. 1 for 5 on the season with the homer and a pair of RBIs in last night's game. So batting from the left side here against the lefty, Matsumoto kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball taken or swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Kiyomiya digs himself back in. Be a big part of this group, Kiyomiya. As the 0-1 pitch on the way, there's a fastball that just misses outside, and the count runs even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, the lefty Matsumoto gets himself any baseball, rubs it up here, and he's going to go back to work. Had to change it out. Didn't like the one that he had. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. There's a fastball that catches the inside corner, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Kiyomiya. I have to say, though, Matsumoto is trying to operate like a surgeon. He's trying to work both corners of the plate, working the hitter inside and out. The command of his pitches are a little bit suspect. There's the 1-2 pitch here ready to go. Pitch on the way, fastball swung on and missed. And Kiyomiya is in the books for the second out of the inning, and that's going to leave it up to the designated hitter in Franmil Reyes. Well, for Reyes, he's grounded into a double play in this one. He's 0 for 1 right now, 1 for 6 in the early season. But one would expect that when he gets going, he's going to be able to carry the ball club at times, as he has normally done. Getting lead at first base is Mizutani. He's got 1 foot on the turf and 1 on the dirt, and there's a fastball that just misses down. Pitch looked pretty good. 1 ball and no strikes to Reyes. But not good enough for the home plate umpire, who's really the important one. So 1 ball and no strikes. Lefty Matsumoto getting the sign. Works himself to the belt, and here comes the 1-0 pitch to Reyes. Fastball swung on, grounded this time past the glove of the third baseman Kurihara into left field. Stopping at second will be Mizutani, and they play station-to-station baseball as Reyes has got himself his second hit of the season. And that is going to bring up the third baseman in Yuya Gunji. So the Fighters trying to get something going here in their half of the third inning, top half of the third. As Reyes acknowledges his teammates with the knock, now he has got himself his lead over at first base. Mizutani, the runner at second, with Gunji 0 for 1 tonight at the plate. He grounded to third his first time up. It's been a busy night at third base for Kurihara after a tough night last night for the Hawks, where he made an error to start the ball game, and he made an error in the 9th. Hopefully he was out taking some extra ground balls today. There's a first pitch fastball that moves Gunji off the plate, and the count is quickly 1-0. Gunji batting from the right side here against the lefty Matsumoto. Digs himself back in, taps both sides of the plate. And now he waits on the offering from the lefty. He works himself to the belt. Chunks the runner over at second and now delivers. Fastball center cut, and that's going to run the count even to 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Not sure what Gunji was looking for there. That was a good pitch to be able to drive. So 1 strike it is. Nodding in agreement is Matsumoto, and now he works himself to the side. He checks the runner over at first base. Here comes the pitch. Breaking ball swung on, lifted into center field. Digging hard is Shuto. He slides and he makes the catch, and that is going to do it. As Matsumoto is able to wiggle himself out of a jam. Nice defensive play there by Shuto to end the inning. Well, they threaten, but they don't score. There was no runs in the inning. There were a pair of hits. There was no errors, and there were 2 runners left aboard. We're now through 2.5. Your score is the Fighters 1 and the Hawks no score. Stick around, everybody. The bottom of the third is just around the corner after this timeout.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. Our friend Gracie Lynn is in the house, so we can now officially get the party started. It'll be the bottom third of the batting order to come to bat for the Fukuoka Ball Club. That means Kurihara, Amino, and Makihara. As they will come here to face the starter Tatsu for his third inning of work. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Kurihara. Kurihara on the season 2 for 4. He homered and drove in a pair of runs in last night's game. Takes the fastball upstairs for a ball, and the count runs even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Right-hander against the left-hander. As Tatsu delivers, it is a breaking ball waved out and missed. And the count now runs to 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kurihara. Right-hander ready to go again. As he kicks and delivers, fastball swung on and fouled away. Count remains at 1-2. Only 24 pitches through the first 2 innings for Tatsu. He's been pretty efficient so far. He has faced the minimum as the right-hander holds and now delivers. And it's a fastball that down in the dirt. Nice block there by the catcher Tamiya. Just going to run the count to 2-2. Friend Gracie Linson, how was our trip back east? It was exhausting. There was only a few nights, and when you go time zone to time zone, it can be a bit of a challenge, as I'm sure you're well aware. There's a split finger pitch that is swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 2-2. It is a lot easier to come west than it is to go east. I can tell you that. Going east, it's hard to get the days, even though it's for a short period of time. There's no sense in really trying to flip the days around. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left center field, moving over and underneath it. And there to make the catch is Nomura, and that's going to retire Kurihara for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone. And that is going to bring up the catcher in Takashi Amino. Tomorrow night, it's going to be Northwestern versus University of Washington. Get a chance to watch a little bit of that. Once that game is done, then there'll be the Guardians and the Mariners on Sunday. As the pitch is on the way, there is a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Amino. Amino in last night's ball game, he was 2 for 3 last night on the season. I had him at 2 for 4. I'll have to go back and take a look And there's a splitter that is swung through and missed, and now the count quickly goes to 0-2. Bottom part of the batting order did a lot of damage last night for the Hawks with Kurihara, Umino, and Makihara all contributing offensively. There was a fastball swung on and fouled away. In fact, they drove in 4 of the 6 runs, did the bottom 3. The ball was fouled on. Gracie Lynn said flying to Spain. Well, when you have to go multiple time zones, it changes the dynamic a little bit because of the length of the time you're on the plane. But I find just the short ones are a little different. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called third strike. Umeno is gone window shopping for out number 2. And that's going to leave it up to the second baseman, Taisi Makihara. Yeah, and certainly it's not just younger. I mean, I could say up until probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I had no issues in adjusting. It's only been in the last 3 or 4 years, so you could get through it in your 30s and your 40s. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is 1-0 to Makihara. Makihara in last night's game, he was 1 for 3 last night, the 33-year-old. As the pitch on the way, it is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count's 1-1. It's always nice to have your batting champion hitting in the 9-hole. And that's exactly what Makihara is. We were saying, though, last night that despite the good regular season, he really struggled last year in the playoffs. Fastball swung on, driven into left field. Nomura backing up. He makes the catch just at the edge of the warning track, and that's going to do it as the Hawks go quietly here in their half of the third. That's 9 in a row set down by the starter Tatsu. So we got no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We are third of the game in the books. This game's skipping along quick. It is. The Fighters 1 and the Hawks no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Thanks for checking us out tonight and staying in to listen to the game. We'll be back in just a bit. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the top of the 4th inning. It'll be Chusei Manami, Yuki Nomura, and Rodolfo Castro to come to bat here to begin inning number 4. Unlike last night's affair, which, even though the game was about a 3-hour ball game or just slightly less, it just seemed to drag at points throughout the game. This one here, we lopped through the first 3 innings at a pretty good clip. As Matsumoto back to work, the first pitch is a fastball taken for a called strike. Count is 1-1. Only 38 pitches through the first 3 innings for the Fukuoka lefty. Probably has something to do with that, as he's been able to induce a lot of swings. There's a fastball that just misses outside. Count runs even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Haven't checked the weather report tomorrow for Seattle. It's supposed to be, I don't believe there was any rain in the forecast, knock on wood. 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, lifted into right field. Moving over underneath it is Kondo. He's there to make the catch. And Manami flies out to his opposite number for the first out of the inning. And is going to bring up the left fielder in Yuki Nomura. Well, for Nomura, he's been all the offense in this game tonight. He had a solo shot in the second inning off of Matsumoto. as he has opened the scoring, and that is where it has stayed. So 1-for-1 tonight with the home run in his debut. Didn't get the start in last night's game as he gets the nod tonight, as there is a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0 to Nomura. So 1 ball and no strikes. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on and is pop foul into the seats. Actually, giving chase was Imeno, but he ends up, as it did drift back in, it's 1-1. I gave up on that call a little early. Our friend Gracie Lynn talking about the rain in the chat. I don't mind the rain. There's some people, especially, we're on the coast here where we live, people don't like the rain. So why do you live here? That's the question. But the rain in particular, what I prefer is warm rain, especially when you get those late afternoon showers or thunderstorms in Costa Rica. That is a beautiful time. As that fastball misses inside to Nomura, and the count is 2-1. But where it gets a little cool is in April or March. You're getting that rain when the temperatures are in the mid-40s. That's usually when people seem to get sick. 2-1 pitch on the way. Fastball misses down and away. It's now 3-1 to Nomura. So 3 balls and a strike. I tell you, Matsumoto's all around the zone. Even when he misses for the most part pretty close. Just that mistake pitch that he had made to Mizutani that was pretty bad. And, of course, the home run ball that he gave up to Nomura. As that ball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains full to Nomura. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. This is the first time tonight that he's gone full to any hitter, Matsumoto. He's been able to get the at-bats moving a lot quicker. There's a fastball swung on, and it's lifted foul over onto the first base side. The count remains at 3-2. Well, whatever it is, looks like that Nomura has the number of Matsumoto here tonight. He's given him a thorn in the side. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is. Rodolfo Castro waiting his turn on deck. As Matsumoto kicks and he fires, there's a fastball swung on and missed. And Nomura's in the books. He's gone for the second out of the inning, and that's going to leave it all up to the aforementioned Rodolfo Castro. Well, for Castro, he reached base in the second inning after he struck out. Ball got right through the catcher. It was a strikeout wild pitch, as he ended up being stranded back in inning number 2. 0-for-1 officially in the books. As the pitch from Matsumoto on the way, it's a fastball swung on. It is hit into deep left field. This ball could have real estate. This ball could be trouble, and this ball is gone as it's into the third row of seats. And Rodolfo Castro has doubled the fighter's lead with a solo shot here. And so the home run pace continues in Fukuoka as that ball is gone. So last night and tonight, the home runs are just mounting up in the Pacific League. So Castro rounds the bases. Gets a round of applause from his teammates. And it is now a 2-0 fighter lead here in the 4th inning. So somebody check for the juice. I think the baseballs might be tested for PEDs here early in the NPB season. As we said earlier in the stream tonight, our friend Samurai Prayer, who was in here, they did say that the balls are juiced, or seem to be juiced, or they were talking about it being juiced. And there is a first pitch breaking ball that is attempted to be bunted by Tamiya, but he bunts through it. A ball and 1 strike. Tamiya 0-for-1. He grounded out to short. His first time up. So the damage off the Castro at bat with 2 out. Here's the pitch again. It's a breaking ball missing down and away. The count runs even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Tamiya again waggling the bat. As the lefty delivers, breaking ball swung on, lifted into shallow center field, and it's going to get down for a base hit. Shudo plays it on the hop and sends it back in, and that's going to be a 2-out single here by Tamiya. That is going to bring up the shortstop in Tatsuki Mizuno. Well, for Mizuno, he walked his first time up, and he was eventually picked off a first. So he does not have an official at bat here tonight. 1 for 4 in last night's game. As the runner, Tamiya, gets his lead over at first base. Mizuno has dug himself in, and he's waiting here on the first pitch from the lefty Matsumoto, but instead they throw over to first, and getting back easily is the runner, Tamiya. 2 gone here in the 4th inning. The first 2 batters went quietly as Castro has doubled the lead with the home run. 2-0 right now is the scoreline. As the lefty Matsumoto delivers, there's a fastball that is waved at and missed, and the count is 1-0 to Mizuno. That was a tough pitch. It was a fastball that was on the inside part of the plate. It looked like he swung in self-defense. So no balls and a strike to Mizuno. The starters, Tatsu for the Fighters, has been sparkling tonight. 9 in a row retired to start the ball game. As there's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 0-2. And so the way he is pitching with a 2-0 lead, it almost looks like it could be insurmountable. So no balls and 2 strikes. All other action is underway across the NPB. And there is scoring in a couple of the other ball games as the lefty kicks and fires. There's a breaking ball down. That was a good stop by Umeno. He had to go into the right-handed batter's box to smother it. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tigers up to an early 1-0 lead over the Giants at the Tokyo Dome. That's in the top of the 2nd inning. Spencer Howard was on the hill tonight for the Giants, making his debut, regular season debut for Yomiuri. Spent last year with the Tohoku Ball Club, and the Marines are up to an early 1-0 lead against the Lions in that one in Chiba. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2 to Mizuno. Matsumoto gets himself another baseball. Our friend Gracie Lynn says, in the MLB, have you seen the start to the season? That rookie Chase DeLauder is having 3 home runs in 2 games. Yeah, I saw that he did it again today. That's pretty impressive. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. And there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. It is in the dirt. Mano picks it up. He throws to first. It's going to be a strikeout, 2-3 on the putout. And gone for out number 3 is Mizuno. Come back and talk about a little bit of the start to the season. We return in a moment. We had 1 run in the inning, the home run by Castro on 2 hits, no errors, and there was 1 left aboard. Moving to the bottom of the 4th inning, your score is the Fighters with a 2-0 lead over the Hawks. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of moments to give you all the action right after this timeout.
Oh, hello. Oh, hey. Yep. I'm just sitting here listening to Freddie call another game here on YouTube. Oh, yeah, going really good. He's calling a great game. Really exciting. Lots of stuff going on. You're lucky it's commercial break right now. I got a second. Oh, yeah, of course I'm having a cold one. Oh, yeah, got plenty of videos coming up this week. You should stop in. Check them out. Leave a like, tell other people. But, Freddie's coming back. I got to go catch the game. I will check in with you later. You have a good night, buddy. Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the top of the order to come to bat here to face Tatsu in inning number 4. That means Shuto, Kondo, and Yanagamachi to face the right-hander here, who has retired all 9 men he's faced. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Shudo lined to right field his first time up. He's 0 for 5 to start the season. And there's a fastball swung on as cued off the end of the bat. It's grounded softly past the third base coach, as that is going to run the count now to 0-2. Shudo checking the end of his bat to make sure that nothing has been broken. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count goes to 1-2. So a ball and 2 strikes. Both pitchers, both starters specifically working very quick. Another fastball swung on and lifted foul. That was at 94 miles an hour. So Tatsu looks like he is settled back down a little bit here, not dialing it up at the 97 miles an hour we were seeing in the first inning, or into his groove at 94, 95. There's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count goes to 2-2. Our friend Gracie Lynn says, does the NPB have the Rookie of the Year? And if so, who are the young players that we should be watching this year? That's a good question. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded over to short. Fielded neatly by the shortstop, Mizuno. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Shudo on a ground out. It is 6-3. The first out of the inning. I have to be honest with you on both of these two clubs. I don't think there's any particular rookies that you want to be looking at. Some of the players that I was interested in last night was Gu Lin, the relief pitcher who ended up getting tagged with the loss for the Fighters, the Taiwanese right-hander. Just curious to see how they're going to use him this year. He was the MVP 2 years ago of the Chinese League in Taiwan, as there's a fastball swung through and missed by Kondo. Kondo 0 for 1 tonight, struck out looking his first time up. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball swung on and fouled into the feet of the catcher, and the count now goes to 0-2. Doesn't really answer your question. Now, you have to go through some of the rosters just to see exactly which some of the players who were picked last year that have going to make potential impact. I know there were some players last year who obviously, the rookies, when they sorted themselves out, as there's a splitter that misses down and in, count is 1-2. There are some people who really, last year there was a lot of instant impact with the Carp having 3 players or 3 rookies getting regular time. There's a fastball swung on. It is grounded down the left field line into the corner. Kondo rounding first, heading to second, and he's going to get in there with a stand-up double. So that's going to be the first hit of the ball game for the Hawks. It was almost like an excuse-me swing, bit defensive as he hit the ball on the ground past the third baseman, Gunji. Hugged the line, and the left fielder was shading him. He was more straight up than anything else. He had to come a ways to have to get the ball. And that, of course, the left fielder being Nomura. So a double with 1 gone here for Kondo, and that's going to bring Tetsuro Yanagamachi to the plate. And for Yanagamachi, he is 0 for 1. He grounded out to the first baseman his first time up. And the pitch on the way is a breaking ball that swung on and lifted foul. The count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Yanagamachi waggling the bat. As the right-hander Tatsu ready to deliver here. Chucks the runner over at second, now fires. There's a fastball missing down and away, and the count goes even at 1-1. The start to the season for Shudo in some ways, and I do like Shudo, as he's 0 for 6. I remember when Koji Chikamoto a couple years ago started the season, it was something like 1 for 20 whatever. He ended up getting sent down to sort himself out, although I have to say the at-bats that Shudo's had, he's hit the ball hard tonight. He just hasn't been able to find the holes yet. There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and the count now is 1-2 to Yanagamachi. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Fighters. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for SoftBank. As the right-hander Tatsu kicks and fires, there's a split finger pitch missing down, and the count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chiba has doubled their lead on the Lions. It is 2-0 now. In that one there, the Swallows have opened up the scoring as they have grabbed a 1-0 lead against Yokohama. That's in the bottom of the second. So some more scoring from around the NPB. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is chopped down the first baseline, but it's just going to roll foul. And the count remains at 2-2 to Yanagamachi. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Friend Gracie Lynn sent me her predictions. And she's really high on the Marlins and the Pirates. As the pitch is a fastball that misses up and the count goes to 3-2. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Although I think the Pirates will be improved. I don't think they're as improved as what you think they are. And their pitching staff is obviously the best part of their ball club. The Fish, well, they traded Cabrera. He was a big part of their pitching staff to the Cubs. Interesting to see how that is replaced. As that fastball misses up and away, and Yanagamachi is going to be aboard with a walk, it's going to put runners at first and second. And it's going to bring Yuki Yanagita to the plate. So if I'm a Fighter fan, I think in this one here, I'm a little bit concerned because you've homered twice, 2 solo shots. You've had the game seemingly in control. And now all of a sudden, the first hit of the ball game for the Hawks comes in the 4th inning, and then you walk a guy, and then you've got the likes of Yanagita and Yamakawa coming to the plate, guys who with one swing of the bat could all of a sudden put the Hawks out in front. So all the work that the Fighters have done would go for nothing. Yanagita tonight, he flew out to right field his first time up. He's 1 for 5 to start the season. As the right-hander delivers, there's a breaking ball swung on and fouled into the feet of Yanagita, and the count is 0-1. Now, I'm curious to see how Owen Casey's going to play in the land of the Fish. Originally was, I believe, a 2nd-round pick of the San Diego Padres, and he was flipped to the Cubs in a deal. And then the Cubs flipped him, obviously, to the Fish in the offseason. As the pitch is on the way, it is a split-finger pitch that is swung on and missed. The count now goes to 0-2 on Yanagita. I often start wondering when young players have been flipped a couple of times before they get their big league debut, what is the knock on that player? It may not be anything. Maybe Casey's just fine, but it always does raise a question or two. As the 0-2 pitch is on the way, it is a split finger down. They appeal over to the third base umpire, but they say Yanagita was able to hold up. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hawk fans sense there could be blood here as they are hitting the bang sticks, cheering on their ball club. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is here to Yanagita as the pitch is on the way. It's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. And Yanagita's in the books. He's gone for the 2nd out of the inning, and it's going to leave it all up to Hotaka Yamakawa. And for Yamakawa, well, he already opened his account last night with a home run. He's 1 for 5 on the season. The big fella here coming to the plate. 0 for 1 tonight. Struck out his first time up. Our friend user Cubs Pete Crow Armstrong in the house. He says, Nomura, absolutely. There's a first pitch splitter swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Yamakawa. Yamakawa looked like he wanted to put the Hawks in the lead with that swing. It was hellacious. Pulled himself right out of the batter's box. Looked like he was ready to run to third base. So much he'd spun around. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Tatsu delivers. Breaking ball taken for a called strike. He didn't like it, did Yamakawa, as he taps both sides of the plate. 0 balls and 2 strikes it is. To be fair, the pitch looked like it was not bad at all. That's a pitch I think Yamakawa would have wanted back. Wasn't looking for that one here. So here comes the 0-2 offering as the righty nodding in agreement with his catcher, Tamiya. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball swung on, chopped over to short. Taken on the short hop by Mizuno. He throws to first, and Yamakawa's gone on a ground out 6-3. Well, they finally unlocked the key to Tatsu as the Hawks were able to get their first hit of the inning. There was no runs in the inning. They did have a hit. There were no errors. And there was 2 runners left aboard. Your scores were now through 4 complete. It is the Fighters 2 and the Hawks no score. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action. Appreciate you for hanging in here with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel for NPB action tonight. We'll be right back in just a bit. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the top half of inning number 5. As it is going to be the top of the order, it'll be Mizutani, Kiyomiya, and Reyes to come to bat. And the first pitch, breaking ball, misses down and away, and the count is quickly 1-0 to Mizutani. Mizutani 1 for 2 tonight, a single and 2 trips, 3 for 6 to start the season, as he is on a bit of a heater here to get things going. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side. Count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike as Matsumoto ready to go again, and he kicks and he delivers. There's a fastball swung on and it's fouled straight back, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mizutani, I like the way that his game is evolving. It was a couple of seasons ago he won the MVP of interleague play during the 2024 campaign and really announced himself kind of on the scene. There's a pitch that misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lefty Matsumoto ready to head back to work here as he holds to the belt, and now he kicks and delivers. Breaking ball missing down, and the count now goes to 3-2. The thing that I kind of like about Mizutani is his plate discipline is improving the longer that he is playing here. 3 balls and 2 strikes. A little bit more patient at the plate. As the 3-2 is on the way, there's a fastball swung on. It's chopped over to short. Fielded by Imamiya. He throws to first, and that's going to retire Mizutani on a ground out 6-3. So 1 up and 1 away here in the 5th. That's going to bring up the first baseman in Kotaro Kiyomiya. We were talking about Major League Baseball in the games. Of course, all games are finals, and For the Detroit Tigers, we're talking about rookies in the big leagues. Kevin McGonigal of the Detroit Tigers, 4 hits in the opener yesterday, and a clutch knock to bring home a pair of runs to put the Tigers in the lead that propelled them to a victory tonight. There's a breaking ball that misses outside to Kiyomiya, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. As the pitch on the way is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. Our friend earlier was telling us, Samurai Prayer in here, about the day that Okamoto had for the Blue Jays, as there is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 1-2 on Kiyomiya. Okamoto had a couple of singles in his major league debut. It's good news for the Blue Jays. He's going to need to hit his way out of his defensive woes, because I don't think he is a good defender. So they must weigh the offense will be better than the defense, as that breaking ball misses down. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He also was on base 3 times. It was Okamoto. He was 2 for 3 with base on ball. As the Blue Jays ended up winning that game, it was Gosman who had 11 strikeouts. I think that was a franchise best for the Blue Jays in his 6 innings of work. Here comes the 2-2. Breaking ball swung on, chopped softly over the first base side. They're going to have to hurry, and nobody's going to get him. Matsumoto had come off the mound. He couldn't cut the ball off. It was bounding to the first base side. Taisi Makihara had to come a long way, and he wasn't able to field it. And so Kiyomiya is going to be aboard with a single here, as he had driven that ball pretty much into the ground. Actually, it was really weird where he hit it. He's a left-handed batter, and he hit the ball, and it hit the chalk in the right-handed batter's box. There was so much English on it as he had hooked around it. And just his English and enough pace that would be able to get by the pitcher. So he's got himself one of the oddest singles you'll see. And that is going to bring Franmil Reyes to the plate. Reyes is 1 for 2. He's got a single, and he's grounded into a double play. And the breaking ball is waved at and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Looking at the out-of-town scoreboard, Tigers are, as we set up, 1-0 on the Giants. The Bay Stars and the Swallows locked at 1s. Fastball swung through and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Reyes. Dragons and the Carp, 0-0 in the top of the 3rd. Fighters, obviously, here have the 2-0 lead. Chiba with a 2-0 lead over the Lions. No score between the Buffs and the Eagles, although the Buffaloes have a couple of runners on in the bottom of the 2nd inning as they are threatening. Here's the 0-2 pitch. As he kicks it, throws and delivers, there's a fastball that comes inside, but it is hit Reyes looks like in the quad. Or is it in the knee? I might have got him on the inside of the knee. Didn't hit the kneecap, thankfully for him. So 0-2 pitch, tried to back him off the plate. Matsumoto hits his batter. Their pitching coach is going to come out to the mound. They're going to have a conference out there while the trainers tend to Reyes. So Reyes looks like he is going to make his way slowly over to first base. He is a big fella. So he gets a pat on the back and slowly makes his way. We'll get a look at the replay of that. Yeah, he's fortunate where he got hit. It was on the inside of the right knee. Been hit on the kneecap. It can do a lot of damage. So runners are at 1st and 2nd. It brings Yuya Gunji to the plate. Gunji 0 for 2 tonight. Grounded out and flown out in his 2 trips. It's funny, they sprayed his knee, and they've got all the spray where it was right on his knee. I don't know what that's going to do for you. They may have to take him down the tunnel and do a little work on him in between the innings. So here's the pitch to Gunji. It's a breaking ball that misses outside for ball 1. For those people who like to come in and place a few nickels on the game, this is the time of the game in the 5th inning where that happens a little bit. Gracie Lynn said, what kind of season are you expecting from the Tigers this season, the NPB? Well, we put our predictions up this week, so if you're on the channel, sometimes you can see our community boards. There's a ball that struck foul down the third baseline, just past the bag, and the count goes 1-1 to Gunji. And we made our predictions. We feel that the Fighters are going to win the league in the Pacific, and we also feel that the Tigers are going to win the Central. But I have to say that I don't know if not that I don't know. I've picked the Hawks still to go to the Japan series. And I think we're going to see a rematch of last year with the Tigers and the Hawks. I got to think that this has got to be probably the last year for a bit for the Hawks. As they are getting old, they're going to have to retool their group. Breaking ball swung on, grounded over to the left side. Imamiya fields it, and then he can't hang on to it, and everybody's going to be safe. That's going to be an error by the shortstop. So the usually sure-handed Kenta Imamiya unable to get a handle on it, and everybody is safe. Over at third, Kiyomiya. Over at second, Reyes. Gunji safe at first, and it's going to bring Chusei Minami to the plate. So as we mentioned, the normally sure-handed Imamiya, it looked like that Imamiya had taken his eye off the ball. And what I mean by that was it looked like he had fielded it and was having a look at second base to maybe take a shot at Reyes. And then probably had made the decision that he wasn't going to go there. He was going to have to go across the diamond, and then he ended up losing the handle. So we got a storm on our hands here as the bases are full of Fighters with only one gone. Minami at the plate, 2 for 6 on the season. He's already opened his account with a home run yesterday. There's a breaking ball swung on, and it's chopped foul over on the third base side past the coach's box, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Crowd is on their feet. The visiting Fighter fans making their presence heard. Minami waggling the bat. And now he locks in on the pitcher, ready to go. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Matsumoto kicks and delivers. Fastball just misses off the outside corner, and the count runs even to 1-1. Matsumoto's not really overpowering. That last pitch was at 90 miles an hour. He's trying to live on the black. And he's done a pretty good job of, for the most part, of keeping the Fighter hitters off balance. But there is action stirring in the Hawk bullpen. I'm kind of wondering if this might be the last inning here for the lefty. 77th pitch on the way. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded down the third baseline. A diving play by Kurihara. He steps on the bag. He goes across the diamond, and that's going to be a double play. Oh, what a play by Kurihara. Last night, it was scary, his defense, as he made a couple of errors, but this time here, he's going to be able to retire. It's a 5-3 double play. Stepping on third to get Reyes, throwing across the diamond to get Minami, and that is going to do it here in the inning for the Fighters. They threaten, but they don't score. There was no runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was an error, and there was 2 runners left aboard. Your scores, we move now to the bottom of the 5th inning. It is a 2-0 lead for the Fighters. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action right after this. Hang tight, guys. We'll come back and chat with the chat when we return. Wow.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome back, everybody. The first pitch is a breaking ball missing down to Kenta Imamiya for ball one. Imamiya 0 for 1 tonight, grounded to short his first time up as he takes a breaking ball for a called strike. The count is 1-1. Imamiya 2 for 5 in the early going this year, or as we wait on the offering, and the pitch is a fastball missing down and away. Count now goes to 2-1. Our friend Pete Crow Armstrong says about the rebound coefficient of the NPB unified ball, instant impact. We talked a little bit about it earlier, as that split finger pitch is swung on and missed, and the count is 2-2. I don't like that the fact that there isn't a overall standard for the baseballs or what would be expected, as the 2-2 pitch is on the way. And it is a fastball swung on, grounded to second, fielded by Castro. He throws to first. That's going to retire Imamiya on a ground out, 4-3 for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up the third baseman, Hirooya Kurihara. And the reason I say I don't like it is I do understand that the NPB ball is a half ounce lighter and it's a little smaller than a Major League Baseball. I would prefer that the baseballs that would be used at professional level around the world have a certain grade. Just like how they test bats in college baseball and in Little League. Are they BB course certified, or do they, how are they? How are they made? How are they constructed? As that breaking ball misses down in the dirt to Kurihara, the count is quickly 1-0. The balls that they're using here, and we were talking about it earlier, that if you look over the last 10 years, home runs have been on a steady decline in the NPB. Breaking ball swung on and lifted foul behind home plate, and the count is 1-1. Our friend God is Great is in the house. Welcome to the stream. Good to have you here, Titus. But my point being with it is that I don't like is the fact that the balls can have that much of an impact. And there's a pitch that misses down and the count's 2-1. I remember years ago in Colorado when they had, I guess it was like a dehumidifier, they would keep the balls in, trying to take the spring out of the ball in the rarefied air. Fastball misses up. Count now goes to 3-1 on Kurihara. Our friend Gracie Len says she'll catch us in the next early stream, and that'll be on Monday night, North American time. So hopefully you'll join us for that one. I believe it is Eagles and Hawks. There's a breaking ball that misses up and away. It's going to be ball 4, as Kurihara is going to be aboard with a 1-out walk here. And our friend God is Great says, and the ground is smaller too. Yeah, I think the only park in the Japanese league that is comparable to a major league field is Hodomoto Field in Kobe, where the Buffaloes play some of their home games during the year. They say the dimensions of that park is a major league ready field. So this brings Takashi Amino to the plate. Amino is 2 for 3 here, as he had struck out looking his first time up. Sorry, he's 2 for 4 on the season. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1 to Amino. So no balls and 1 strike. So yeah, to answer some of those questions, that would be how I would look at it. My friend Gracie says, we'll catch you on Discord, and we will catch you there for sure. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul into the seats down the first base line, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Amino. Red 2100 wants to know, how are we watching the game? Well, for those of you who are interested, we sometimes throw it out where you can go and find it yourself. We'll give you that in just a moment, as the pitch is a fastball swung on and lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats. And the count remains 0-2 to Amino. If you're watching on TV, it could be a variety of things. KBC TV, TV Asahi, KKB Kagoshima Broadcasting has it tonight. HTB1, Kumamoto Asahi Broadcasting, BS Asahi, or Sports Live are all carrying it on the television guide. As that pitch misses down, it is 1-2. If you're looking online, DAZN, Rakuten TV, Baseball Live. Those are your options, and that's how you'd have to go and find it. So you've been given the info. Now you got to go and search it out. Here's the 1-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on and lifted foul. And the count remains at 1-2. My friend God is Great says even that field being Hodomoto is a little smaller. Yeah, it's not perfect. As I say, it's the closest to Major League Standard. So 1-2 strikes as the right-hander works himself to the belt. Here comes the pitch. And that's a breaking ball swung on as grounded in through the right side into right field, and everybody is going to move up a base. Kurihara is going to stop at second. Amino with a hot start to the season. He's aboard with a single. That's going to bring up Taisi Makihara to the plate. God is Great says TBS is his viewing of choice. Surprisingly, even though this game, and it feels like it's moving quickly, it's really kind of on the pace. Usually at 90 minutes is where you try to get through 5 full innings, and we're not quite at 5 full yet. As the pitching coach, Kato, is out to the mound to have a discussion with his pitcher. And that conference is going to be over as we will resume the action here. Just looking ahead, as the pitching matchups have been announced for tomorrow night. In this series, it'll be Carter Stewart Jr. taking to the hill for the Hawks. He missed all of last year through injury. And he's going to be going head-to-head against the former Hawk, Kohei Arihara, who has returned to his original team in Hokkaido. So he'll be facing his former team. That will be the pitching matchup tomorrow night. Fortunately, we're not going to be here to give it to you. So the right-hander Tatsu delivers, and the pitch to Makihara is a breaking ball that misses inside. Count is 1-0 strikes. As we alluded to earlier, we will be back on the airwaves for the Tuesday and Wednesday game next week. Tuesday and Wednesday will be North American time, Monday on the West Coast at 10 o'clock, 1 a.m. Eastern. There is a fastball swung on it as belted foul, hooked down the right field line, and the count goes even to 1-1 on Makihara. And for those of you who will be thinking about coming by, it's going to be the Hawks and the Eagles. So 2 early starts next week, and of course that might be barring weather. Hopefully the weather will be good because those games are going to be outside. Fastball swung on, grounded over to the left side of the infield. They go to second for 1, and that's all they're going to get. It's going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to erase Amino. It's going to go 6-4 in the books. He's gone for out number 2. Safe over at first is Makihara. Advancing to third is Kurihara. And it's going to bring up the center fielder in Yukio Shudo to the plate. So for Shudo, he is 0 for 2 tonight. As he strides to the dish. Batting from the left side here, Shudo looking for his first hit of the season. Our friend Demon Slayer in the house. I can't wait to talk to you, Demon. We're glad you make it in. I got a lot of stuff to chat about in a few moments. As there's a fastball that comes inside and is hit Shudo. So that's going to load the bases, and it's going to bring Kensuke Kondo to the plate. So advancing over to second is Makihara. Staying at third is Kurihara. Bases are full. Kondo coming to the dish. And congratulations to our Demon Slayer. We're glad that you were able to pull that off. So bases full of Hawks here. 2 gone in the bottom half of inning number 5. As they are threatening for some runs here. And of course, this is where some of our people who like to come in to find out if it's going to be an over-under in the first 5, what a situation this would be for them. Fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Kondo. Kondo got the first hit of the game for the Hawks in this one, as he had a double his last time up. He was left stranded at second base. 1 for 2 tonight, 2 for 5 on the season. As the right-hander delivers, there's a fastball that just misses outside, and the count now goes to 1-1. So ball and a strike on Kondo. Demon Slayer says his model only applies to the regular season, not preseason, as the lineups are differently. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll say I was having success in the basketball realm of things, as there's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-1. The baseball, well, I've just started to use it a little bit. We'll have to give you my assessments in about a week or so, once I run it through a bunch of simulations, I should say, or over the span of a few days, to see how it works out. As time has been called, Kondo steps out. After this half inning is over, we're going to take our 5-minute break, just as the teams do. And then when I come back, I'll dig into it with the Demon Slayer and give you some of my thoughts and comments. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball swung on it, is belted into deep right center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. That's going to be runs. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. And they drop the ball on the relay, does Castro. 3 runs come across the plate to score. So Kensuke Kondo with a 3-run double, as he clears the bases, and the Hawks have now taken a 3-2 lead. This is what I was talking about earlier on, and saying that the Hawks in particular were not in control of this game. It looked like the Fighters were just cruising along, and here we have a big inning and a crooked number on the board. And the Hawks are now enjoying a 3-2 lead. How about those apples? And especially Shudo able to come all the way around easily from first base with his speed. Kondo with the fist pump. 3-2 it is here for the Hawks, as Tatsu, who was perfect through his first 3 innings of work. The first pitch delivered to Tatsuro Yanagamachi is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. And think about it, the top of the inning, it was the pitcher Matsumoto who was in the ball game. We were looking, are they going to make a change? They had come out to the mound. Pitchers were warming up in the bullpen. He survived the inning, and then here Tatsu seemingly cruising along, and the wheels fall off the apple cart here in inning 5. 0-1 on the way. Fastball swung on, hammered up the middle into center field, and Kondo's going to come around. He's going to score another run, and that's going to increase the scoreline to 4-2. So Yanagamachi with a RBI single. Kondo in to score the 4th run. That is going to extend the lead to 4-2, and that'll bring up the designated hitter in Yuki Yanagita. Our friend Demon Slayer says these low-scoring games, runs are hard to come by. Well, I got to say, Demon Slayer was the topic of conversation earlier in the chat. We were talking about the juiced balls. The first couple of games here in the NPB, balls have been flying out of the park like crazy. So keep your eye on that and be concerned about it, because the balls have had a little bit of jump in them, not just tonight, but last night as well. As the first pitch to Yanagita is swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. Yanagita, the 8th hitter to come to bat here in this one. As Yanagita struggling to get the season going. He is 1 for 6 at the plate. And there's a fastball swung on, and it is grounded up the middle into center field for a base hit. And Yanagamachi is going to stop at second. So the hit parade continues here for the Hawks in inning number 5. It's almost as if they know what pitch is coming. That's going to bring Hotaka Yamakawa to the plate. Our friend Demon Slayer says, serious. Yeah, the balls, we were watching them fly out last night, and our friend Pete Crow Armstrong, they were saying that, I heard earlier in the season, in the preseason, they were speculating that they've done something to the balls to give them a little bit more life. If that's the case, and if the way the balls have been flying out of the park the first 2 nights in this series, expect that they may have a little bit of juice. The scoring may be up. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that catches the outside corner to Yamakawa. He didn't like the call. The count is 0-1. 4 runs in the inning here so far for the Hawks. They are sending their 9th hitter to the plate. 4-2, they have now taken the lead here in the bottom of the 5th. As the right-hander works himself to the belt, he checks the runner at second, now delivers. There's a split-finger pitch waved at and missed. The count now goes to 0-2 on Yamakawa. So if you just joined us, it was the Fighters cruising along through the first 5 innings in this one until the bottom of the 5th here. They have run into a juggernaut here in the inning as the Hawks have stuck a 4 spot on the board and are threatening for more. Here's the 0-2. Fastball swung on, grounded through the 6-hole into left field. That might get another run in. Rounding third and heading home, and that'll cash in Yanagamachi. So a RBI single off the bat of Yamakawa extends the lead to 5-0. Stopping at second is Yanagita. So Yanagamachi all the way around to score. And that is going to bring the big boss out of the dugout. So just like that on cue, our friend Gracie Lynn leaves the chat as she calls it a night. And that is typical Gracie Lynn. She's always the cue. She leaves and the runs start mounting. It is now a 5-2 game here for the Hawks. As that is where we stand right now. Well, we're going to have a pitching change as the big boss has come out to get his pitcher Tatsu. As his night is now, or his inning is mercifully over. But we're going to take a little break as we do have a pitching change and the assault continues. Our friend Jimmy Redbeard in the house. We'll be right back in just a couple of moments. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Here's our good friend Steve Rademacher announcing the pitching change.
Hey, where are you going? It's a pitching change. Come on, sit back down. You don't go out there. Don't go get no food or anything. You've got a big decision. Are you going to throw in there Raleigh Fingers? Maybe Goose Gossage? How about maybe Mariano Rivera or Lee Smith, Dennis Eckersley? Who knows? It's a pitching change. Come on back. You know who I would pick for this? A nice, tall, cool one. There's my pitcher. That's my pitching change. That's a winning combination. Come see my channel. You know, every day is opening day. And according to Bob, I must be in the front row. Blah.
Welcome back, everybody. It is quite the inning for the Hawks. As I'm not sure how we would say it, but Ramones, possibly. We welcome you to the stream. Our friend Demon Slayer says, what do you think about the ABS? Haven't seen enough. I'm going to get it firsthand on Sunday when I see the Mariners and the Guardians. So we'll be able to give you my thoughts on it. We've got Takahita Ikeda, a right-hander, coming on in relief here for the Fighters as he is just completing his tune-up tosses. As he is going to be replacing Kota Tatsu. So Tatsu's night done. And Takahita Ikeda now coming on in relief. Pitcher number 2 used here by the Fighters. And I wonder if that's going to change the approach of the management of the Hawks if they're going to stay with Matsumoto. They didn't have action up in the top half of the inning, but was able to get out of it. So this brings Kenta Imamiya to the plate. Imamiya led off the inning. He grounded out to start the inning. He's 0 for 2 tonight. 1 for 5. We got him at 1 for 6, but they got him at 1 for 5 on the season. As he stands in waiting on the first offering from Ikeda. As he holds to the set, and here comes the pitch. Fastball swung on, and it's going to be popped up over on the third base side of home plate. Moving over underneath it is Tamiya, and with one pitch, Ikeda is able to retire Imamiya, who is the 2 of the 3 outs in the inning, and that will do it here in the 5th. Well, as you know, it is what we like to call the Japanese halftime. We're going to take ourselves a moment break here. Our friend Demon Slayer says Amazon Web Services. Yeah, that might be the case. Well, we had a bunch of runs in the inning. There were 5 runs in the inning on the benefit of 5 hits. There was no errors, and there was 2 runners left aboard. Your scores were now through 5 complete. It is the Hawks with a 5-2 lead over the Fires. Stick around, everybody. We're going to take our little break here, and we'll come back in just a few. Our friend Redbeard's in the house. We'll come back and chat with Jimmy and the Demon Slayer after I go get my beverage refreshed. Glad you guys can make it in. We'll be back in just a couple of moments with all the action. Jimmy must not be able to sleep because his daughter's probably keeping him up, and we're glad you're here with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Stay with us, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. It is a topic of discussion, the ABS system, or the automated balls and strikes. And it's certainly something that we look at. I look at it, and I'm mixed on all the amount of video that we have in the sport. The theory is that we want to try to get the calls right. And sometimes even with the ABS technology and rule interpretations, we don't always get it right. But what I'd like to see is it now over a span of time where the challenges are potentially used, and then what percentage of the challenges are actually overturned. But when you think about it in tennis, or you think about it in other sports, they have the goal line technology in soccer, got the NFL replay system, basketball. I also find that it takes away from the game, like the continuity of the game. It's almost like having an extra timeout within the sport, which I'm not always a huge fan of. And so when you lose momentum, you lose the rhythm of the game. Maybe not from a spectator standpoint when you're sitting at home in front of your television, but certainly at the game. Well, here we go back to the live action as it's Yuki Nomura facing Haru Matsumoto, and the first pitch delivered to Nomura swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. Nomura got the offense going for the Fighters as he fouled away the first pitch. So no balls and 1 strike. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes it is. Yeah, games can be changed on bad calls, but games can also be missed on some of that stuff. And that's all the element of play as well. There's a breaking ball waved at and missed, and Nomura is gone. And so the element of a bad call or a poor call or a missed call can shift certainly on a dime. And I understand it too, like also on the side of somebody who's putting their money down on stuff, especially with the way that the gambling has come into the sport world in North America. Breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Rodolfo Castro. Castro accounted for the second run for the Fighters. He homered in the 4th inning. He struck out but reached on a wild pitch back in the 2nd, so he's been on base twice. There's a breaking ball waved at and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Castro. Castro stands very deep in the batter's box. He's got his foot right on the chalk. Because now he's asked for time. He's going to step out and reset himself. So no balls and 2 strikes. As the lefty Matsumoto getting a sign from Memento, and the pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, chop foul over on the third base side. Count remains at 0-2. It was 77 pitches through 5 innings for Matsumoto, and I would expect that this is probably going to be his last inning of work. The one thing I do like, or I have to say, admit now, and I wouldn't mind seeing it in the NPB, is there's a fastball swung on and missed, and Castro's in the books. He's gone for out number 2. It's going to leave it all up to the catcher, and Yua Tamiya. What I would say that I do have to say I do like now is the pitch clock. The pitch clock has helped move the pace of the game along. You look at some of the NPB games, depending upon who the bullpens are. I remember a couple of years ago, the Hanshin Tigers bullpen cringed every time they came into the game because it just seemed to slow the game right down. And here comes the pitch, and is a fastball swung on, chopped softly down the third base line. It's going to go foul, and the count is 0-1 to Tamiya. So certain changes in the game have had a positive impact. I'm not so sure about the ABS system as a whole. There was a situation the other day with the ABS where it came into effect. I think it was yesterday, and they were talking about it, and they said it was a 3-2 pitch, and the batter received ball 4, and the runner was going from first to second, and they had thrown the ball down to second base. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. Counts 0-2 to Tamiya. And the runner from first to second had stopped running. He got tagged, but the runner had received, or the batter had received ball 4. But then the batter challenged the call, the defense challenged the call. It was reversed, so he ended up striking out. So would it be a strikeout throwout situation for a double play? As that ball is chopped foul over on the third base side. Should you play it right out? I would think on the overturn, it would be the runner would have to go back to first and the strikeout would be upheld. But from an offensive perspective, if you're running to try to stay out of the double play, how come the guy can't take second base on the overturned call? Here's the 0-2. Fastball swung on and hit foul over on the third base side. The count remains at 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Our friend says he wished he wasn't so far behind on the broadcast. There's a 0-2 pitch. It swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 0-2. Well, if you're able to watch the game and the broadcast, I can tell you this. When I was in Chiba a couple of years ago, there was about a 15-second delay between the game live action and what you're watching on your mobile device. And then with us, with StreamYards, using a third-party application, you add another 7 seconds, probably could be as much as a 20-second delay. So what people do is if you are able to get a stream, you can sync it up to our English commentary and work it that way. There's a breaking ball down in the dirt, and the count goes to 1-2 on Tamiya. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 1-2 here to Tamiya, 2 gone in the top half of inning number 6. As the lefty is nodding in agreement with his catcher as he works himself to the belt. Here comes the 1-2. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball swung on and missed. It's in the dirt. Mino picks it up. He fires to first. And how about that? As Matsumoto strikes out the side here in inning number 6. So maybe we'll see him again for the 7th. So strikeout 2-3 on the putout, as that is going to be Tamiya gone for out number 3. And we're moving ourselves to the bottom of the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. Manager Shinjo heading down the tunnel, probably to go to the bathroom after watching that performance. So stick around, everybody. We appreciate you guys hanging in. We'll be right back in just a couple of moments on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
We got ourselves a 5-2 game. All the runs for the Hawks came in the 5th inning as they come to bat here in the bottom of the 6th. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. It is Hawks and Fighters NPB Baseball on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. It looks like fist pumps all around. I have the feeling that Haru Matsumoto's night will be over, as he had went 6 innings in this one on 91 pitches, a pretty solid effort for him. It is going to be slated to come to bat here in the bottom half of inning number 6. Ryoya Kurihara, Takashi Mino, and Taisi Makihara. As it looks like we have a pitching change on our hands. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. So the pitching change, it is Sachiya Yamazaki on in relief here. So Yamazaki taking over. And the pitch on the way is a fastball swung on and lifted foul. Interesting that I think Akita only threw 1 pitch to get out of that last half inning. So Sachiya Yamazaki in. And it is 1 ball and 1 strike here to the left-handed hitting Kurihara. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball swung on, grounded to second. Fielded by Castro on the run. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Yamazaki. It's going to be ground out 4-3, so 1 gone here. And that is going to bring up the catcher and Takashi Amino. I was commenting last night saying that, the Amino really didn't provide a whole lot of offense for the Hawks last year, and so for him getting off to a good start is very important. He is 3 for 5 on the early season at the plate, and he takes a breaking ball down, 1 ball and no strikes. Got to get a little bit of production from him, one would have to think. All right, there is a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count goes even at 1-1. Sorry to the guys in the chat. Tension has been going to the game here a little bit more. Glad you guys are flapping a little bit. Our friend Demon Slayer calls the Bay Area his home. There's a fastball swung on it. Is lifted into left field. Camped out underneath it is the left fielder Namura, and Imeno's going to be retired. He's going to be gone for the second out of the inning, and that's going to leave it all up to the second baseman and Taisi Makihara. So for Makihara, he's officially 0 for 2 tonight. He bounced into a fielder's choice. He scored a run his last time up, and he flew out to left field. So technically 0 for 2, 1 for 5 on the young season. Batting champion of 2025 in the Pacific League. Waiting on the offering from the lefty Yamazaki. It's a breaking ball that misses inside and the count 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Wondering if they're going to stretch out Yamazaki here. There's a fastball swung on his grounded, and it gets through the first baseman and past the diving second baseman as well. So both Kiyomiya and Castro unable to knock it down. It's going to be a single for Makihara. It's going to bring up the top of the order in Yukio Shudo. Friend Demon Slayer says the number 8 guy on the Phillies is a cleanup hitter in San Francisco. Not even sure who the 8 hitter would be there. Maybe Adolis Garcia. He was hitting down in the batting order in Philadelphia, which is a really dangerous lineup. Our friend Eloy Perez. Eloy Perez is back. Glad you could be here, Eloy. Of course, we remember you. There's a breaking ball that misses down. I'm glad you remembered us. So Shudo, who was hit by a pitch his last time up, is officially 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 6 to start the year. He did score all the way from first base on the double by Kondo. As they throw over to first, and diving back is Makihara. Keep your eyes peeled on Makihara here. This would be a perfect time to put him in motion. Hopefully you brought the tequila this time, Eloy, and maybe even a few tacos. There's the 1-0 pitch. It is a breaking ball that just misses. The count now goes to 2-0 on Shudo. Eloy says it's been a long time since he has been here, and of course, we're glad that you have come back. The addiction of NPB baseball. And everybody else who's listening as well. Here's the 2-0 pitch. On the way, fastball misses down and away. It's now 3-0 to Shudo. Waiting on deck is Kensuke Kondo, who has done some major damage with the lumber tonight. Resting his bat on the shoulder is Shudo. He's waiting here on the 3-0. Pitch on the way. Fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. And the count now goes to 3-1. 3 balls and 1 strike it is. Loy says he misses us at all. And our Ramon says, was that a cartoon single? Yeah, it was interesting. The ball had eyes. It was a seeing eye single for sure. Able to get through that hole over there. And that was fascinating. It just was just a little bit to get through each guy. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball swung on it. It's popped up over on the third base side. Underneath it is Gunji. He's there to make the catch, and that's going to do it as Shudo is going to be gone for the third out of the inning, and that is going to do it here for the Hawks in their half of the 6th. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change when we return. No runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. Your scores were now moving to the top of the 7th. 2/3 of the game is in the books. It is a 5-2 lead for the Hawks. We'll be back for the top of the 7th in just a moment when we return after this musical timeout. Stay with us, everybody. Glad you could be in here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. It's a 5-2 lead for the Hawks as we move ourselves to the top of the 7th inning. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Hikaru Kimura coming into the ballgame to replace Haru Matsumoto. We saw him last night as he will take over here. So Hikaru Kimura on in relief. And he is slated to face the 9, 1, and 2 hitters in the batting order. And the first pitch swung on it is lifted into deep left center field. Moving over underneath it, and there to make the catch is Shudo. So with one pitch, Tetsuki Mizuno is retired for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up the top of the order in Shin Mizutani. Can barely get his name in the books, and he's already recorded an out. Our friend Demon Slayer says, don't think coaching baseball matters all that much. Well, I says, what's our Instagram or Facebook? You can catch us on Instagram with Last Raps Baseball. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into center field, and Shudo coming in, and he makes the catch. So 2 pitches and 2 away here in the 7th inning. It's going to leave it all up to Kotaro Kiyomiya. But we do have a Facebook page for the Japan Baseball Report. You can go and take a look at that there if you want to. We're going to have to come up with some podcasts here. So we got 2 away here as batting from the left side is Kiyomiya. As the pitch is on the way, there's a breaking ball that misses upstairs. Count is 1-0 to Kiyomiya. Kiyomiya tonight 1 for 2. He's got a single and 2 trips. He's also been hit by a pitch. As the 1-0 on the way, fastball swung on, grounded over to first. Oh, what a play there by the first baseman Yamakawa as he dives to his left. The underhand flips it to the pitcher covering. And that's going to do it. How about that for a 4-pitch inning? Ground out 3-1. That's going to end the inning here as the Fighters go in order. No runs, no hits, no errors. And there was nobody left aboard. Your scores, we're now moving to the bottom of the 7th inning. It is a 5-2 lead for the Hawks. Stick around, everybody. We got ourselves a little rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. We appreciate you guys for being here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the bottom of the 7th inning. The Hawks enjoying a 5-2 lead over the Fighters, as we have 5-7-1 for the Hawks, 2-6-0 for the Fighters. And all the runs for the Hawks came in the 1 inning. We do have another pitching change here for Hokkaido. It's going to be number 67. This is Takumi Yamamoto. In some ways, he reminds me of a Jose Altuve pitching. Not a big guy. First pitch fastball misses outside. It is going to be Kondo Yanagamachi and Yanagita to come to bat here. Yamamoto, the former Dragon, who was acquired in a trade a couple of years ago. There's a fastball swung on, grounded over to second. Castro fields it, he throws to first, and that is going to retire Kondo for the first out of the inning. Fourth pitcher used now tonight by the Fighters. So 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up the left fielder in Tatsuro Yanagamachi. Well, for Yanagamachi, he is officially 1 for 2 tonight. He's got a single and 2 trips. He's scored a run. He's driven in a run. He's also drawn a walk. So by our counts, he is 2 for 6 on the season. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Yanagamachi. So no balls and 1 strike. As there is a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes even at 1-1. At least DDJ looks a lot like Living Room Sports. Demon Slayer says, Facebook wasn't a Harvard picture book. It's a CIA invention. Yeah. There's a fastball that misses inside. Count is 2-1. Who was the one? What was the experiment in San Francisco that went down a number of years ago where they were giving drugs to people where the CIA was involved? There's a fastball swung on and lifted foul into the seats, and the count is 2-2. Can't remember the operation. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Yanagamachi. 1 gone here in the 7th. There it is, MK Ultra. Hanshin with a 1-0 lead over the Giants, top of the 6th, says Samurai Prayer. Glad to see you're still hanging around there, Samurai. As that breaking ball misses down, it's now 3-2 to Yanagamachi. You know, I was saying before about the World Baseball Classic team of Japan. They tried to pattern their team off of what's going on in Latin America and North America, and you know, it didn't go so well for the Japanese. I wish they would just stay in their lane and play what their strength is, which is bunting, small ball, hit and run, using their speed. And of course, having a mix of offense. You do have players like, obviously, Shohei Ohtani, who is the type of player who can run. He's big. He can hit the ball long. But certainly the defense of the team was a little bit suspect. Actually, a lot suspect. 3-2 pitch on the way. There's a fastball swung on, his lined right to the glove of the second baseman Castro, and that's going to retire Yanagamachi. He hit the ball right on the screws, and he's gone for the 2nd out of the inning. That's going to bring Yuki Yanagita to the plate. And for Yanagita, he's got a single and 3 trips tonight. So the right-hander Yamamoto kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses down. And the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Right-hander Yamamoto working quickly, delivers a breaking ball that is swung through and missed. And now the count goes to a ball and a strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Yanagita. Catching up at the out-of-town scoreboard, we'll give you all that information in just a couple moments as there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. The count goes to 1-2. Tigers still clinging to that 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th. Swallows again, 4-2 lead in the top of the fifth over the Bay Stars. Carp and the Dragons locked at zeros. That game is in the top of the seventh inning. Pitch on the way, fastball swung on it, is popped up over behind second base, moving over underneath it and making the catch over the shoulder is Castro. That's going to do it. The other rest of the out-of-town scoreboard, Marines have a 4-0 lead over the Lions, and the Buffaloes enjoying a 2-0 lead over the Eagles. Those are the other games that are going on around and about. Well, they go quietly in an order here in the seventh inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. We're moving to the top of the eighth. It looks like another pitching change on our hands here for the Hawks. We'll bring that to you when we come back in just a couple of moments. Appreciate you guys for hanging in with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back after this musical timeout. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back in just a few.
Oh, hello. Oh, hey. Yep. I'm just sitting here listening to Freddie call another game here on YouTube. Oh, yeah, going really good. He's calling a great game. Really exciting. Lots of stuff going on. You're lucky it's commercial break right now. I got a second. Oh, yeah, of course I'm having a cold one. Oh, yeah, got plenty of videos coming up this week. You should stop in, check them out, leave a like, tell other people. But, Freddie's coming back. I got to go catch the game. I will check in with you later. You have a good night, buddy. Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. Darwinzon Hernandez in the ball game, and he delivers a first pitch that is swung on and missed by Franmil Reyes, and the count is quickly 0-1. Hernandez appeared in last night's ball game, and he served up a home run, a solo shot. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count goes even at 1-1 to Reyes. I was talking about Darwinzon last night, and I do like the way that he operates as the lefty kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung through and missed. And the count now goes to 1-2. And the question will be consistency, command, and is he going to be able to sustain this throughout the course of the season? But there is a lot to like about the lefty. There's a pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. And the count remains at 1-2. Our friend Demon Slayer earlier in the chat there talked about the true story. Yeah, it's 100%. And that's been documented. There's certainly other people that are out and they've talking about that and also the stuff that's done. But it was interesting that most of those files had been destroyed as the CIA director at the time had done that when he was ordered not to. There's a fastball that misses up and away and the count's 2-2. So I don't think we'll ever really know the full extent of all the stuff that went on in that particular project. There's a fastball that misses up and the count goes to 3-2. But without going down that rabbit hole, we'll try to stay on the ball game here as it's 3 balls and 2 strikes to Reyes. Reyes 1 for 2. He was hit by a pitch as well in this game. As the lefty Hernandez delivers, there's a fastball that misses down. They appeal over to the first base umpire, but they say Reyes didn't go. And he is going to be aboard for the third time tonight, this time via base on balls. And that is going to bring up the third baseman in Yuya Gunji. Our friend Demon Slayer, yeah, we're going to stick to the baseball. We'll create the podcast on another channel to be able to talk about all that other stuff, but otherwise it ends up taken away from the game. So we got enough politics in baseball, let alone what goes on in the rest of our world. There's a fastball that misses outside to Gunji, and the count is 1-0 to him. Gunji officially 0 for 3 tonight. Did reach on an error his last time up. He's also flown out and grounded out. So 1 ball and no strikes to Gunji. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung through and missed, and the count now goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, the lefty Hernandez getting his signs, and he's working himself to the set. Now delivers. There's a fastball that makes Gunji hopscotch out of the way, and the count goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and a strike. Our friend Samurai Prayer says, yeah, fastball swung on and popped foul into the back, and the count is 2-2. Yeah, you know, with the baseball, we got so much to look forward to this year. And, of course, the one negative thing we'll talk about is that after the season in Major League Baseball, it's already talked that the owners are going to lock the players out. Fastball swung on and bouncing foul over on the third base side. The count remains at 2-2. Yeah, you know, and it's kind of sad because I look at it and I say baseball in North America is in a really good place. Super good place right now. The momentum it has from all of the things that are going on, and to lock it out. Fastball misses outside. It's now 3 balls and 2 strikes here to Gunji. I know people will complain about the Dodgers. I don't complain about the Dodgers. I actually think the Dodgers are one of the few teams that are competing. They're trying to do something. They're spending money. It's the other 20 or so lemons in the league that aren't. There's a ball popped up down the shallow right field line. Racing back is the second baseman, Makihara, and he's going to make the catch. He's going to retire Gunji for the first out of the inning. Fighter's running out of outs here. There's only 5 outs left to play with. It's going to bring Chusei Minami to the plate. I'm all for the Dodgers, the way they're trying to compete and trying to try. I'd like to see, other than the Angels who don't spend their money properly, the Mets who spend a little bit crazy. Blue Jays have been spending money recently, as their payroll is exhibited by that. Fastball misses down and in. And you think there's maybe a few other teams that spend it, what I would say, the Padres have been spending money. Phillies have been spending money. Red Sox spending money. There's a fastball that comes inside, almost hits Minami, and the count now goes to 2-0. So I definitely like the way that teams will spend the money. And Samurai Prayer says that Dodgers have got wealthier. You're absolutely right in so many fronts. Fastball swung on. It's going to be grounded through the 6th hole past the glove of Imamiya into left field. Stopping at second is Reyes as they go station to station. So Minami with a base hit. And now we got to keep our eyes peeled here because we're starting to fall asleep a bit on this game. This is going to bring the tying run to the plate as Hernandez has got himself in trouble. And it's going to be Yuki Nomura who homered in the second inning to open up the scoring in this one. So runners at first and second with 1 gone. Nomura coming to the plate. 5-2 lead Hawks are enjoying right now. One swing of the bat can change it. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field. This ball could be trouble. Racing back and leaping and not able to come up with it is Yanagamachi. But it is going to hold Reyes over at third. He had to wait because the ball was driven all the way to the fence. And Yanagamachi leaped. He couldn't come down with it, but he is going to be able to keep it in the yard. It's going to be a long single. Stopping at second, Minami over at third is Reyes. I mean, they couldn't just take off and go because they didn't know if it was going to get caught or not. unable to come down with it, Yanagamachi. So bases are now full. It looks like Nomura's day is done. We're going to have a pinch runner for him over at first base. He gets around to high fives. I wonder if it'll be Isobata or Yazawa that'll come in to run for him. We haven't got that yet. Expectation would be one of those two would be the ones that would get it. Nomura enjoyed a nice night tonight and 2 for 4. Looks like Ryo Isobata has entered the game, so a lot of speed over there at first, and one would think that he'll move into center field. And that is going to bring Rodolfo Castro to the plate. Castro had hit the second home run of the night, and he takes a fastball in the outside corner for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Castro officially 1 for 3. He has struck out twice and homered. That fits right in with the other part. Our friend Demon Slayer says he's going to go to McCovey Cove. There's a fastball that Hernandez blows right by Castro, and the count is 0-2. Ramon says that was almost a great grab. Yeah, he leapt up there, and he just couldn't come up with it. And also a great job to keep them to only moving up a base. If it wasn't Reyes at second, they might have been able to score the run there. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field. Moving over underneath it is the left fielder, and that is Yanagamachi, who's going to make the catch. And Castro is going to be retired. He had a wild hack at it. Pitch was up and around his eyeballs, and he ended up popping it up. So he's gone for the second out of the inning. It's going to leave it all up to Yua Tamiya. So if you fell asleep in this one, well, maybe it's not going to be Tamiya. It looks like we're going to have ourselves a pinch hitter. As they are going to the bench, it is going to be Yushi Shimizu. So one would expect that he's probably going to go into catch. So Shimizu into pinch hit. So the night over by Tamiya here. A little surprising. Tamiya off to a decent start. Would have thought they would have let him have the at-bat, although Tamiya does swing from the left side, so it is a righty-lefty matchup. So Reyes the runner at third, Manami the runner at second, Isobata the runner at first. 5-2 lead for the Hawks. 2 gone here in the top of the 8th inning, and the Fighters are threatening. First pitch from Hernandez. Fastball swung on it, is lifted into straightaway center field. Underneath it is Shudo. He's there to make the catch, and that is going to retire Shimizu and the Fighters here. They threatened but come away with nothing. There was no runs in the inning. There was a pair of hits, no errors, and 3 runners left aboard. That is also a tale of the tape here tonight, as that is 9 runners left by the Fighters on base. Your score as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning, it is a 5-2 lead for the Hawks. Stick around, everybody. We are in the deepest of waters, and we'll be back here in just a few. Our friend the Demon Slayer says he's going to hit McCovey Cove. Look for his red Phillies hat in McCovey Cove on a kayak. Well, that'll be entertaining for sure. We'll be back in just a few with all the action. Stay with us, everybody, on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We have a 5-2 lead. Our friend Demon Slayer is going to be on a kayak, and maybe they'll get their first run on the game tomorrow, or maybe it'll be Sunday, but we'll be back in just a couple of moments right after this.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want to baseball instruction? See Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. Welcome back, everybody. We've got ourselves another pitching change on our hands. It is going to be Koji Fukutani, the right-hander who is coming in here for the Fighters. So he will take over. This is going to be the fifth pitcher used tonight by the Hokkaido Baseball Club. So Fukutani in relief, as he is pitcher number 5 used. Unfortunately, Demon Slayer, I'm not going to be watching the Giant game. I'm going to be focused on the Mariners and the Guardians on Sunday. Samurai Prayer says, do you mean San Francisco or Tokyo? No, he's talking about going to McCovey Cove, sitting in his kayak, catching home run balls. So coming to the plate here is Hotaka Yamakawa, as he will lead it off here. And he first pitches a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Yamakawa 1 for 3 tonight. He's got a single and an RBI. He's also struck out and grounded out. 2 for 7 on the young season, as the pitch on the way is a fastball that bounces all the way to the backstop, and the count goes to 1-1. I haven't seen any of the highlights today. After this game is done, I'm probably going to pull up and go and have a look and see what I can enjoy watching. Also, I haven't seen if there's been any ejections yet on the first 2 days. That's the other part. I was looking to see if there were any ejections. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left center field. This ball could be trouble. Back onto the warning track. Looking up, and it is gone. A home run for Yamakawa. The second home run of the season for the big fella, as that ball is gone, and yet another home run in this ball game. The first one now for the Hawks. So make note of that, Demon Slayer. The juice baseball appears to be back. Those over-unders might want to be considering the overs for the first little bit till they readjust here. So Yamakawa increases the scoreline to 6-2. One thing I was talking about, I had a buddy of mine who lives in England and knows nothing about baseball. And one thing he was saying about was the mathematical models that you plug into sometimes into the Chat GPT or Grok. There's a fastball ticket for a called strike. By the way, I've been using your model Demon Slayer in Chat GPT, not in Grok, but it's the same thing. Here's the 1-1. Fastball swung on, grounded over to third, fielded neatly by the third baseman Gunju, fires across the diamond, and that's going to retire MME on a ground out 5-3. He's out for the first out of the inning, and that is going to bring up the third baseman in Ryoya Kurihara. Our friend Mahone, our Hamon says these kickout is so cool. Yeah, certainly works for Yamakawa. Here comes Kurihara to the plate. Fastball under the hands for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. 6-2. The Hawks have extended their lead here. The game has had a decent clip to it, as there is a fastball that misses up. They appeal to the third base umpire, but they say that Kurihara didn't go, and the count now is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Looks like the Carp have finally opened up the scoring as they got the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th against the Dragons. There's a pitch that misses down. The count now goes to 2-1 on Kurihara. My best picks on we've had the Bay Stars over the Swallows both nights, and the Bay Stars haven't unlocked the Swallows yet. They're down 4-2 in the bottom of the 6th. Fastball swung on, grounded to the right side, fielded by Castro. Throws to first. It's a ground out 4-3, retiring Kurihara for the second out. That is going to bring up the catcher in Takashi Umino. No other changes in the other score lines. That brings Amino to the plate, who is 1 for 3 tonight. 3 for 6 in the early going this season. Pitch on the way, breaking ball missing down, count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Demon Slayer says why they need to change the ball. Well, it goes back again. There's a belief that they want to see more home runs. 2 balls and no strikes. That's a problem. I was saying earlier in the stream that I think there should be a global standard for the baseballs. There's a fastball swung on and it's hammered foul. We were talking earlier before that the Japanese baseball is a half ounce lighter than the ball used in North America, and it's a little bit smaller in circumference. So that's always been sort of a standard, a little bit smaller ball, a little bit smaller in circumference. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. The count now goes to 2-2 on Amino. So, but what do I mean by the standard? If you remember, the Colorado Rockies were using I think it was a dehumidifier to put the balls in so they wouldn't fly as much. Isn't that like doctoring a ball, like putting Vaseline on it for a pitcher? Fastball swung on, lifted foul over the first base dugout, and the count remains at 2-2 to Amino. No, I'm not just saying it. That it's been speculated. It was speculated in the off season, as is in the exhibition season, the way the balls were jumping. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into right field, or right center field. Moving over underneath it is Isobata, and he's going to make the catch, and that is going to retire Amino. He's gone for the 3rd out of the inning. So keep your eye on the home runs per game over the next little bit here, because that is definitely going to change some of the outcomes. We did get a run in the inning. It was the home run off the bat of Yamakawa. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. We are through 8. It is now a 6-2 lead for the Hawks. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call of the top of the 9th inning, and we expect yet another pitching change. We're just waiting for the confirmation as to who that will be when we return right after this. Top of the 9th inning is just around the corner. We'll be back to bring it to you here in just a few. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Everybody, it is going to be Kazuki Sugiyama who is coming on relief. He'll be the 4th pitcher used by the Hawks in this one, as he will take over. So Sugiyama saw action last night, as he will try to close this out. It is a non-save situation, as he did get the save in last night's ball game, but here he is, got less pressure and less stress on him here in this one. So Sugiyama just completing his tune-up tosses. We will be ready to resume the action in just a couple of moments. Slated to come to bat is the 9, 1, and 2 spots in the batting order. That would mean Mizuno, Mizutani, and Kiyomiya. We'll keep our eyes peeled to see if the big boss is going to do something any different, or if he's going to stay with his hitters that he has here. So this does look like a pinch hitter, as the night is going to be done here for Mizuno. It is number 60, Kengo Yoshida, on the pinch hit. And he swung through the first pitch. He takes a breaking ball for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-2. So Kengo Yoshida, seeing a couple of quick strikes here. Here's the 0-2. Fastball in the dirt, swung on and missed. And they are going to have to throw down to first, and that is going to retire Yoshida on a strikeout. So Sugiyama, who works quickly at the best of times, 3 pitches, strikeout 2 to 3 to retire the batter. And that is one quick out here, and that's going to bring up the top of the order in Shun Mizutani. Our friend Demon Slayer says this criminal thought all the balls were the same. WNBA ball is smaller than the NBA. That is correct, as there's a fastball that swung through and missed, count as 0-1. I remember when the women's basketballs years ago when I was in high school, there was a fastball swung on it as lined softly, and it just passed the diving glove of the second baseman, Taisi Makihara. It's going to be a single for Mizutani. So he is aboard for the second time tonight. I was just about to comment about the women's basketball. The women's basketball smaller. I could palm a man's ball, but I couldn't do it off the dribble, so I wouldn't be able to stuff it down on a dunk because I couldn't palm the ball off the dribble. Couldn't put it in. Hands just weren't quite big enough. But the girls' ball, I could do it easily, both hands, and I was able to flush that. Makes a huge difference. The Jupiter Knight in the house says can't wait till May when he's going to be going to Japan to see a game in Fukuoka. Almost 2 decades since the last time he saw one. That's pretty cool. I haven't been to, that's one place I haven't been, is to Fukuoka. There's a fastball swung on, grounded through the 4-hole into right field. Oh, and so Kiyomiya's aboard with a base hit. And here come the fighters, as it's going to bring Franmil Reyes to the plate with 2 aboard and nobody out. Or sorry, 2 aboard with 1 out. My mistake. So that is going to bring Reyes to the plate, who has a single. He's walked. He's been hit by a pitch. He's been on 3 times. So they need outs here, as the Hawks do. They got 2 outs left to get. The Fighters running out of outs. My friend Jupiter Knight says he first saw them when they were the Dai Hawks, so that's pretty cool. That's going back a ways. As the pitch is on its way, it's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count's 0-1 to Reyes. I often wonder sometimes when closers come out to finish a game in a non-closing situation, if their concentration or their focus goes a little bit sideways. Sugiyama, generally speaking, he is pretty locked in, but non-safe situation, he has to come in and get some work in. Does he take it with the same approach? There's a split finger pitch waved at and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Reyes. Demon Slayer said he had to throw it off the backboard to dunk. Yeah, that was one way. Another way, you could kind of, like a volleyball player, toss it up into the air so you could get up and try to do it. So we got no balls and 2 strikes as the right-hander delivers. There's a fastball swung on it, is lifted into deep right center field. This ball could be trouble. It's going to get down and it's off the wall. It's going to be a run for sure, maybe more. Mizutani in to score, and cutting it off is Makihara. He's going to run it back in. And now we got something brewing here, as it is a 1-run double off the bat of Reyes. That scores Mizutani with the 3rd run. It's going to bring the tying run to the plate in Yuya Gunji. Stopping at 3rd is Kiyomiya. In this game, they're not out of it yet. So it looked like it was going to be an easy-peasy close out the game here. But don't pump the tires, as it's now a 6-4 ball game with the tying run coming to the plate. So Reyes aboard at second base. Runner at 3rd, Kiyomiya. It's a 6-3 ball game. As Sugiyama all of a sudden has given up back-to-back hits. Jupiter Knight says he's from Texas, but a Dodgers fan since the 80s. Since the time of Fernando Mania, I'm sure. So Gunji striding the plate. He is 0 for 8 to start the season. And the first pitch is a fastball that the home plate umpire said he went around on, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no ball and 1 strike. It would be a good time for Gunji to break out of this early season stretch of futility. So no balls and 1 strike. Things can unravel in a hurry. That is for certain, as we've seen before. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted foul down the right field line, and the count now goes to 0-2. Just ask the Saitama Cebu Lions, who now find themselves down 7-0. Tigers have doubled their lead. It is 2-0. They have bases loaded in the top of the 8th. As Gunji taps both sides of the plate, waiting here on the offering. As he waggles his bat. And the pitch on the way, it is a breaking ball swung on and tap foul over on the first base side, and the count remains at 0-2. It's almost a self-defense swing. Carp, who had the bases loaded in the 7th inning, only came away with 1 run. It's the Dragons are trying to, in the bottom of the 7th inning, Dragons are trying to come back here. They got a runner at second. Top of the order, Orlando Calixte at the bat. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's a split finger pitch missing down, and the count is 1-2 here to Gunji. Demon Slayer says he could dunk at 5'8". My friend Samurai Prayer says Jupiter Knight must have a big heart. Everything's bigger in Texas. There you go. There's a breaking ball swung on it. It's going to be looped over the glove of the second baseman, Makihara. Into score comes Kiyomiya. And another RBI, another run on the board. Unbelievable. So a single here for Gunji. He gets himself an RBI. You have to see what Reyes had done. I believe Reyes had advanced over to third. He had to freeze to make sure that ball got down. But he advances over to third base. They got runners at the corners. It's going to bring Chusei Manami to the plate. And so this is a problem. It's a 6-4 game. Now the go-ahead run is at the plate. And Gunji's day is over. That's a good way for him to break out of his slump. First hit of the season, he's now 1 for 9. And he collected an RBI, so that's going to bring Manami to the dish. Manami tonight is 1 for 4. He's 3 for 8 in the early going. Do have a pinch runner. It looks like it is Yozawa over to run at first base. And the first pitch fastball is taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1 to Manami. Yeah, get your nail clippers out. This is turning into a nail biter. So Manami waiting here on the offering. Still only 1 out. As Sugiyama delivers, there is a split finger pitch swung on and missed. The count now goes to 0-2. See, he started Gunji the same way, then he ended up losing Gunji. Making it a little bit more difficult than what it should be. Runners at the corners, 1 gone here. Wonder if they would do something like put the runner in motion to maybe stay out of a double play. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, popped up over on the right side. Underneath it is Makihara. This time he's going to make the catch. Everybody's got to hold where they are, and that's going to retire Manami on a pop out to the second baseman. He's gone for the second out of the inning. It's going to leave it all up to Ryo Isobata. We'll see if Isobata is going to get a chance to swing the bat. As they come out and flash the signs, it doesn't look like it. So it looks like it is going to be Nishikawa that's going to get a chance to swing the bat. When I see number 7, I used to think of Go Matsumoto. Matsumoto no longer with the ball club. It's Haruki Nishikawa. He used to be a fighter. Then he became a Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagle. He bounced around a little bit, so Nishikawa coming to bat here. And the first pitch to him is a split-figure pitch, swung on and missed, and the count is 0-1. That's how I remember him. He was player of the month with the Eagles. When he left the Fighters, his first month with the Eagles a couple of years ago was player of the month in the Pacific League, and then it was just all downhill after that. Never really regained his form, and here he has resurrected himself this year with the Fighters, the 33-year-old. Pitch on the way, fastball swung on, grounded over to the right side, fielded by Makihara. Busy inning for Makihara, and that is going to do it. It's a ground out 4-3, and that's going to end the ball game. Well, they made it interesting here in the 9th inning, did the Fighters. They showed no quit. They had 2 runs in the inning on the benefit of 4 hits, no errors, and 2 left aboard. Your final score is the Hawks 6 and the Fighters 4. Stick around, everybody. I'm going to come back and wrap it up for you here in just a couple of moments. We appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Your final 6-4 for the Hawks. We'll be right back after this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to wrap this one up for you. We'll take you around the NPB with all the other games that are still going on. Then we'll put this one to rest tonight. A reminder, we'll be back on the airwaves again for the Tuesday games, Tuesday and Wednesday. It is going to be slated to be the Hawks and the Eagles. Those games will go off at 10 p.m. Pacific or 1 a.m. Eastern in North America, as they are early games and midweek games in Japan. Not going to be on the airwaves tomorrow. As we mentioned, it is going to be UW versus Northwestern. We'll be watching a little bit of that action tomorrow. And then the day after that, it is going to be the Mariners and the Guardians, as we will return back after that. Well, the final score here was 6-4, so we'll give you the rundown in this one. Fighters got the scoring going in the second inning. It was a solo shot out the bat of Yuki Nomura with 2 out that opened it up the scoring 1-0. They doubled their lead when Rodolfo Castro homered in the 4th. That made the scoreline 2-0 at that point. And then it was all Hawks for the next little bit. The Hawks put 5 on the board as they sent 10 hitters to the plate in the 5th inning. It was with 1 out, it was a walk to Ryoya Kurihara. Kashiamino singled, then it was Makihara bouncing into a fielder's choice. After Yukio Shudo was hit to load the bases, up stepped Kensuke Kondo, and he delivered a 3-run double to give the Hawks at that point the lead 3-2. They added to their lead when Yanagamachi singled home Kondo. That made the scoreline 4-2. After a single by Yanagita, Otake Yamakawa singled, and that brought home that brought home Yanagamachi with the 5th run of the inning. And it was 5-2 after 5. In the bottom of the 8th, Otaki Yamakawa gave the Hawks some insurance with a solo shot to lead off the inning. That made the scoreline 6-2, but the Fighters did not show any quit. With 1 out in the 9th, there was a single by Mizutani, a single by Kiyomiya, and a double off the bat of Reyes brought home Mizutani, and a single off the bat of Gunji brought home Kiyomiya, and that made the scoreline 6-4, and that is where this one ended. So 6-4 is the final score in this one tonight. Your tour around the NPB. In the bottom of the 8th inning, in the Central League, the Hanshin Tigers have a 2-0 lead over the Giants. Giants won yesterday's matchup. Tigers are looking to try to get the victory here in this one tonight. Swallows are giving the Bay Stars all they can handle. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Swallows are up 5-2 on Yokohama. Not the way Yokohama wants to start the season against the typical bottom feeder Swallows. It is in the top of the 8th inning. The Dragons, it looks like the 8th inning or is maybe come to an end. Dragons were trailing 1-0, and they scored to tie the game with the Carpet 1-1. It is in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Marines have gone crazy. They have now a 9-0 lead over the Saitama Cebu Lions. And at the Kyocera Dome in Osaka, the Buffaloes are enjoying a 2-0 lead. That's in the bottom of the 7th against the Eagles in that one there. Well, everybody, we appreciate you guys for hanging in here tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. And definitely, as we say, we'll be back on. It'll be Hawks-Eagles early games on Monday and Tuesday, North American time. Tuesday, Wednesday, games in Japan. So hopefully you can join us for those. And we'll be posting up a little more of our schedule as we continue on. We're going to squeeze some Major League games in as well. So look on the calendar for those. If you're up in the middle of the daytime, hopefully you can join us for 1 or 2 of them. All right, everybody. Well, we appreciate you for hanging in. We will see you guys soon. Samurai Prayer, Demon Slayer, Jimmy Redbird, the Jupiter Knight, our Ramones, who was in the house here. Not to mention everybody else who popped in earlier on in the stream. Our friend Gracie Lynn, whenever she leaves, that's when all heck breaks loose. And she left and she delivered. The game went crazy. All right, everybody. Have yourself a great night. We'll talk to you guys soon. Much again, appreciate you for being here on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Let's do it all again in a couple of nights. Hawks and Eagles later next week.